Up next, we have display metrology for production, AIO systems and technology advantages. Chris Williamson is presenting from Radiant Vision System.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining Radiant's Exhibitor presentation on display metrology for production and how Radiant technology can be utilized to in automated optical inspection systems for display quality evaluation. A little bit of background about Radiant. We are a manufacturer of automated optical inspection systems with a focus in light and color measurement and thousands of systems deployed in production all around the world. So we know that display production poses a set of challenges, and as such, when we evaluate inspection systems, we have to evaluate how they keep up with the change in the demands in display production. So we know that display production is increasing. The global display market is set to increase over 50% from 2020 to 2025. Last year, 500 million PCs and tablets were manufactured, and the billions of smartphones that are manufactured every year keeps increasing. We estimate that by 2025, something like 3,000 smartphones will be manufactured every minute, which is really incredible. The competition in the industry also means that manufacturers have to produce systems faster, and they have to produce more cutting-edge systems. To keep up with this and to support this, there's been a rapid adoption of automation systems. The automation market is projected to increase around $60 billion by 2025. In addition to the fact that display production is just increasing, the technology is also advancing. Resolution is increasing. Pixel density is increasing. This means that it's harder to measure displays on the pixel level. We also see new display technology like OLED, micro LED, mini LED. What this means is that there's oftentimes more variability at the pixel level, which poses a risk in display imperfection and quality. So we know that there's challenges with displays, that resolution is increasing, and that the way to measure them is also decreasing. So we need to take a look at the inspection systems that do so. The ideal solution provides visual quality, compliance with standards, repeatable results, speed, efficiency, system integration, and end-to-end support. And when we look closer at some of the optical systems that are currently deployed, they don't necessarily meet all the mark in all of those areas. Display test equipment is divided really on a spectrum. On the one side, we have lab-based systems, goniometers, spot measurement devices, spectroradiometers. They're great at providing absolute luminance and color data. However, they're not necessarily fast enough for a lot of modern production environments. On the production side, your classic inline or end-of-line system is going to be a machine vision camera, which is great for testing basic functionality, can look at defects, but it's missing a major component in complete display evaluation, and that is the metrology side of it, the calibrated luminance and color data. A model of human visual perception guides universal standards for photometric and colorimetric measurement. It's guided by the CIE. It's really a relevant gauge because, of course, it follows human and visual perception, and a human is going to be the one that ultimately views a display. So, for example, if we want to know the exact color of blue that is emitted by OLED subpixel in this display, we can apply CIE measurement standards to output an absolute quantifiable value. Any system that doesn't give us this calibrated luminance and color information is really missing a key part of complete display evaluation. From this, we see some major misconceptions in terms of deploying production systems. One is that we can't get everything we need. We can't get lab-level display metrology fast enough for our production line. We have to either sacrifice speed or resolution. The demands for resolution keep increasing, and there just isn't a system that can keep up with that is also fast enough. There isn't a system that's going to meet our specific production requirements, and that's also going to meet our budget. And from the logistical and software side, there isn't a traditional display metrology system that can be integrated into our production environment. So again, these are all misconceptions that we see, and from this we really see a divide. On the one side, we have lab-based systems that provide great absolute luminance and color, and on the other side, we see production systems that are quick, but they don't give us all the data that we need. And what I'd like to introduce today is how Radiant bridges these gaps. We solve both of these challenges in providing both lab-based values as well as the speed that production requires. So Radiant focuses both on the lab-based systems and production-based systems, but we have to start at the data because that's really the key component in fundamentally evaluating the quality of a display. All components of the imaging system, its lenses and software, are developed together to provide an all-in-one system that brings lab-level capability to the production line. Here you see a prometric imaging colorimeter, which captures extremely accurate CIE-matched values of luminance and chromaticity and provides defect detection like Mura, dead pixels, and more. And of course, this is all built with production in mind. We saw earlier that display variability and display technology is continuing to advance. Sometimes spectral information is required, so Radiant has released an integrated spectrometer in the imaging colorimeter so that you can get spectral information, you can calibrate your device, you can measure CCT, CRI, all in one system. We also have optics developed specifically for production. So this example is a conoscope lens. So in a single snapshot, we can capture angular luminance and color information in seconds or less than a second, whereas traditionally this kind of information or data has to be measured on a goniometer in the lab, and it just doesn't meet the speed required from production. Resolution is a key metric or specification in any imaging device. Radiant has always been at the forefront of high-resolution systems. So modern systems, comparable systems, are typically around 12 megapixel. And with a lot of advancing display technologies, we know that just isn't enough. So Radiant has actually up to a 61 megapixel, and depending on the application, even higher than that, imaging device, so we can see pixel level and even subpixel level defects. So in this example, we see a display with a couple of defects. We take a measurement with our high-resolution 61 megapixel system, perform imaging processing, and we can easily detect defects in the display that you just can't find with a comparable 12 megapixel lower resolution system. Another key component to resolution is measuring at the pixel level. So we saw earlier, we've been mentioning that the variability of each pixel can vary quite a bit. In order to overcome this challenge, we need really high accurate measurements at the pixel level. So in this example, this is a single OLED subpixel measured with our 61 megapixel system. You can see that we're getting maybe 100 pixels across this, so that we know, in this case we know that the pixel level measurement of our device is going to be extremely accurate and is going to give us enough resolution. With all of this resolution, we know that, I mentioned earlier, there's a misconception that in order to get more resolution, we have to sacrifice speed. We at Radiant know that as the demand for resolution increases, the required throughput doesn't decrease. Neither does the minimum measurement time can't increase. So we have to use different technology in order to make your measurements faster. So we do this in a couple of ways. We utilize different technology to download and process the data, whether it's gigi or 10 gigi downloading. We've moved from CPU to GPU. On the software side, we've moved from CPU to GPU processing, so we can leverage multiple cores and analyze our data in parallel. So in this table, you can see we go from a dramatic increase in resolution from an 8 megapixel system up to a 61 megapixel system, and the measurement time doesn't increase much at all. Not as much as we would expect it to. There's a difference in metrology systems designed for production lines and metrology systems designed for your production line. So we know that obviously not all inspection programs, not all inspection requirements are exactly the same. Radiant develops solutions to meet real inspection requirements. This means starting off by consulting with you to get to know your objectives, what are your specific requirements, and understanding your production environment. From here, we work with you in a collaborative effort. We have a whole team of engineers and resources devoted to working with you to meet your end goal. We partner with fixturing companies and integrators to be able to integrate our systems into the production environment. We also have a team of software engineers that are able to adapt our analysis that we already have developed to meet your specific requirements. In terms of automated inspection software, machine vision has set the bar. It has to be fast, continuous inspection, pass-fail output, universal communications. But as I mentioned, it doesn't capture the key element of display metrology. So what Radiant has done is leverage the best of machine vision software in that continuous and fast testing with the best of metrology testing into TrueTest, our main software platform. TrueTest was made to be an automation engine for metrology applications. The interface controls all of the elements of inspection, from pushing test images to a display, initiating and controlling the camera, and then outputting the data. So here we can see just a glimpse into the TrueTest software. We see that we have an entire library of analysis that can be set up in a sequence. The sequence can be autonomously run. It will step through and perform all of our analysis and then give results, whether it's pass-fail or specific data that is configured by the user and specific to your requirements. Another benefit of machine vision is that it can be easily implemented into the production environment, whether that's interfacing with a fixture, whether that's actually communicating to the device under test, and working with the larger production environment. So our goal with TrueTest has been to make this integration as seamless and easy as possible. We have a full API and SDK available in different languages, whether it's LabVIEW, Python, .NET, and a lot of examples built out to make it easy for you to step in and implement these kind of systems in your production environment. Of course, a major part of any production program is support. Radiant has over 70 applications engineers spread throughout the world, whether it's North America, China, Taiwan, Korea, Japan, Vietnam, that are there to support your production needs, whether it's local integration, training, validation, customization, equipment maintenance, calibration, and technical support. From one of our regional offices, we have offices in Asia, North America, and Europe. The main manufacturing and HQ of the company is just outside of Redmond, Washington. But we recently started a production facility in Suzhou to support calibration, maintenance, and production in China and the greater Asia Pacific area. So hopefully I've given an idea and demonstrated that Radiant is aspiring to be a leader in production display testing. And I'd like to just give a quick summary on how we do that. So we start with the hardware, the imaging photometers and colorimeters, pairing that with our lenses, unique lenses built for particular applications. And then, of course, the software is the main component, or a key component, rather. Pairing it with our library of analysis and user adaption to easily implement it into your production environment. So all of this combined really bridges the gap between the challenges of the traditional display metrology and the automated optical inspection system, providing a solution for both cases. And with that, thank you very much. Please visit us at our booth at 1307. We have a lot of these technologies that I just showed on display. and a whole team over there that want to talk about your testing and production needs. Thank you.